Happy Friday. Thank you for joining me here. Tonight we are continuing on our little stuffed bunny rabbit, our little stuffed animal that we are making. We have the body about halfway done and we'll be working on that for the rest of the evening. So thanks for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So, all right, again, we are working on my bunny stuffed animal toy pattern, and we are well on our way. We've been working on it all week, and we have the head just about done. We just need to stuff it. And we have the body started. This looks a little bit crazy, but it'll look like a body very shortly here. This is, I think, the stage where it's all going to start coming together. We're also going to start stuffing it tonight as well. So, all right, let's get going. All right, hello, everyone. Thanks for hopping on in this Friday. Nice to see you all. So, all right, where we left off, yesterday we put his eyes on. We chose to do button eyes. And then we have his little crooked face here, his little nose, and we added a little smile to him as well. I sewed it a little off-center, so it's going to be a little goofy. He's going to have a little smirk on his face. And then we sewed the front side of the body to the belly. And now we're going to sew the back side of the body to the belly. And once we're done with that, we can stick his head on, and we'll be on our way. See, this is starting to look like a bunny, I think. All right, so I already kind of turned this right side out. I'm going to turn it back inside out, because that's how we need it to work on. Okay, we're going to put right sides together for this bottom edge of his back. So if this is his back, we're sewing that bottom edge here to the tail. Last night we sewed from the tail and up onto this side. So I'm gonna throw this guy down here again too, just so I don't scrape my table. Okay, and the other thing we need to pay attention to is we need to leave this gap open. We have the markings on here to leave that open. So I am going to just, I'm going to start by just matching those. Here we go. That'll be like one of our easy kind of marks we can match as we go. I like these little glass top beads. Oh, Amy says she's almost done with his bunny. Oh, you're not quite happy with how the head lined up. So that's what we're going to play around with tonight. There's a couple ways you can do the head. You can actually sew it on with the machine if you really want. But I'm going to, and I'll show you how to do that. I won't sew it all the way, but I can show you a way to do that. But I like stuffing the head and the body kind of separately, and then we can use that as we can, with them sort of stuffed, we can see what they look like, and we can kind of rotate and move the head around how we want a little bit easier, I think. Help give it some of its personality, I think. All right, so I'm pinning these guys together. Ooh, I don't want to pucker too badly here. A little extra bottom fabric, it looks like. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting it. Okay, and then on this side of the opening, I just have to remember that that's the opening. Sometimes I'll put 2 pins there, but I think just because there's such a big gap, I'll remember, hopefully. All right, the next part that we can match up is the little crease in the legs here. Oh, thanks, Marie. Marie says I did well with the directional fabric. Yeah, I think that's turning out really cute. So directional fabric, again, is fabric that, you know, when you look at it flat and everything, all the motifs, all the drawings in it all go in one direction, so like upward. And so the flowers in this case are all going upward. So that's directional fabric versus tossed fabric. which is when all the drawings, all the little motifs go every which way. Like they're rotated anyway, so no matter how you lay the fabric down, it'll look fine. So with directional fabric, you gotta kind of pay a little closer attention if you want that to matter later. All right, I'm gonna get the other side of like the crook of the leg here. That's a good matching point. Oh, Gretchen's having fun with the bunny. That's great. It's so fun to see all of your bunnies over in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. That's just been really kind of neat. Very springy. It's about time, right? All right, so I think we got all the pins except for just going around his little paw here, and I don't think we need too many in there. That seems like it just wants to be in the right place, which is great. We'll throw one more in. All right, and that's that. So we can already see it's kind of coming together here. So we're gonna start at the tail, like how we did last time. This is gonna be a little bit easier because my seam is gonna be to the right, like how I'm used to it. And we're gonna sew to here. Remember, leave your space because we're gonna need that to stuff later. So I'm gonna back tack it here, and then I'm gonna start fresh right here, back tacking, and then we'll finish it up. So easy peasy. Or easy peasy enough, I should say. It's still a lot of little curves that we're putzing around with. And I think I'm going to take it off the machine again. Just so I can start right on that seam instead of like working my way up to it. Alright, so I'm gonna do the presser foot right on top of where I want to start. There we go. I'm just holding my thread so they don't fly everywhere, get sucked into the machine. A little back tack, and now we should be good to go. Get my little stiletto here, and grab my pins, throw it on my little magnetic pin cushion armband. That's been kind of fun to play around with these past few days. Alright, so I'm coming up to that opening. So right where my line is there. And I'm going to just back tack again, because we're going to be pulling at that space quite a bit. Alright, and I think I should be able to just come up and zip my way over here, and hopefully it won't get, that thread won't eat my machine won't eat that thread too much. We'll trim it right when we're done here. But let's start the next spot. Ooh, there, that worked well. Okay, let's back tack a little bit. All right. Final little bit here. I'm going slow, just kind of starting and stopping as I need to move fabric out of the way and take care of these pins. Okay. This is, I can feel the dart that we have on the underside. So we made those darts in the legs, not on this gray fabric, but on the white fabric, our fabric color number 2. So I can feel that underneath here, but I think I'm still out of the way. All right, now here I'm going to have to lift up my machine, my presser foot a little bit to make it around this curve. Tight little curve. All right. Come here. home stretch. Yay, this is it. Awesome. Let's back tack that a little bit. And that is it. Let's throw our leader on there. Ugh, so now this project would be a little bit annoying if I ran out of bobbin in the middle of it. I'm having like twinges of like, oh, when's the last time I've done my bobbin? So I'm hoping that's not a sign that it's gonna happen soon. All right, we got our bunny body here. I'm gonna do that quick little snipping of mainly inside the little armpit area, basically. Let's snip into there, so we're snipping close to that stitch, and that again, that just kind of allows the leg to spread. And then I'm going to grab my picking shears again. Instead of cutting tiny triangles around here, I'm going to just cut tiny triangles with the picking shears. My favorite thing to do. There we go. So now when this is turned right side out, those will have, there'll be less bulk here because that's going to come together when you turn it right side out. And I think that's all we need to do. So before I turn this right side out, I just want to talk about putting the head on. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn this right side out and stuff it a little bit. We're not going to completely stuff it, but we're going to stuff it enough that we can kind of see the shape of it a little bit. And we're going to do the same with the head. We're going to give the head some shape with the stuffing, and then we're going to attach the two at that point, and then we can really kind of rotate the head how we want it, make it go up or down a little bit as we want it. And then we're going to hand stitch the head to the body. So if you want to avoid hand stitching the body, this is what you want to do here. It's kind of a gamble because you don't know quite how the head's going to, end up. Well, it should end up just fine, but you don't get that like extra placement of it, like getting to like see it and move it around. But what you can do is through the head hole, while this is still inside out, you can have your right side out head, like what we have here, and you could stuff it into the body cavity basically, and you have the hole here too, so that can help you stuff it in there. And you can line up the front seam of the head with kind of the chest of the front of the body, so like right here. So I'm just kind of twisting it around, pulling it out the other side a little bit. So basically you have right sides together now. You have the right side of the body and the right side of the head. This is how I would do it if I was making like a zillion of these all at once. But now I can actually pin the head on the inside here all the way around, and then I can actually sew. So my machine does not, like, I wouldn't be able to do this very easily. I'd have to like kind of shush everything out of the way. But if you have like a sleeve attachment on your machine, you could use that. But basically you just push, it's a circle, so you'd have to push everything out of the way underneath, and then you just sew around, and then you would turn it right side out through. So this would be a closed hole at that point, and then you'd just pull it right side out through the opening, and the whole thing would be good to go. You'd get your bunny head would be right, and it would be attached to the rest of the body. So that would be a fun way to give it a go, I think. But I'm going to do it the way that it says in the instructions, just so you guys can see that. I think it's a little bit, it's kind of nice that you can place the head and rearrange it maybe a little bit better. But that is a quick and easy way to get that head on. And you can actually do something very similar for the back legs, but we're going to also hand stitch those on as well. So for now, I'm going to turn this right side out. But I'd love to hear if any of you do it the way where you actually sew it on with the machine. It's a fun, quick way of doing it. All right, here's the little tail sticking out here. We already turned this paw inside out kind of roughly. We should do a little bit better job of that. All right, here's the second paw. I'm going to just get my hemostat guy in here to just help push out the little paw here. And let's get the other side too. We didn't really do that last time. Get the full curve of that foot in there. All right, let's do the same to the back. Let's just poof out his little back a little bit. We'll be stuffing this soon, but it's just kind of fun to start seeing it. So there we go. Here is his unstuffed body. Looking kind of crazy, but here is his underside, his little legs, and the back, the long back of the body. All right, so that is that step. I think next what we'll do is we'll just kind of loosely stuff both of the elements here. So let's stuff the head. We'll probably stuff the head pretty good just so we can get the shape of it. We will leave a little bit of a gap here because we still want to be able to stitch it easily. And then we'll do the same thing here. I'll stuff his little feet, and then I'm going to kind of loosely stuff the whole thing, leaving kind of a gap at the neck. After that, we'll be tucking in the neck seam just a little bit, like by a 1/4 inch, like so, and then the same thing with the head. I just kind of like pull it tight and tuck a little edge under. And at that point, we'll just kind of place it where we want. Maybe we want them looking forward or sideways. We could even have them looking all the way back, which would be kind of cute. And we'll pin it in place and hand stitch them together. And at that point, we'll stuff it more after that. So those are the next steps. I got my stuffing here. Again, I have this big bag of like polyester stuffing. Again, the trick is to pull little by little. So I'm going to actually just grab a glob here first. Ooh, okay. And this is definitely, I mean, now that everyone's used to wearing face masks all the time, I'm thinking like, oh, there's so many more uses of face masks that we should use. So this would be a good one to just like, you know, have a face mask on while you're doing all this, just because this will get fuzz everywhere. All right, I'm just trying to stuff the little nose there. The trick, again, to stuffing, it seems silly, but you'll notice a difference, is to take a little piece, poof it up, and then stuff it in there. You want to go little by little. You don't want to put a huge, big chunk in there. So I'm going to just take a few of these pieces, fluff them up. If you put just a big chunk in there, it will just, it'll feel chunky. It'll feel like you just got these globs in here. So I'm just getting a few bits going, and then we can start moving it around. And I'm not going to move it around too much yet. You can really work on that and tweak it later, but right now I'm just kind of getting it in there, because we're gonna keep stuffing it after the head's attached. We just need enough in there to kind of get the look of him, and then we can kind of decide, you know, where we want him looking and all that. All right, now you can start seeing the shape of the head. It's coming together. I think those little eyeballs, they're like kind of all over the place right now, these little eyeballs, but I think they'll look cute. Little button eyeballs. John actually had bunnies when he was growing up. Lots and lots of bunnies, I think. So John's way more familiar with bunnies than I am. I had a guinea pig. I suppose that's not really the same thing. I hear bunnies are supposed to be like as smart as dogs, though. Which makes me think of my favorite dog right now. Let me know if you guys have heard of Bunny the dog. Oh, and his name is Bunny. So that kind of fits in. There's this dog that I follow on TikTok, which is just so silly to even say, but like the dog's name is Bunny, and it has, I'm sure I've talked about this already, but it has buttons, like these dog buttons that you can have different words on, like outside or play or, you know, whatever you want on them. And there's this dog named Bunny that they're even studying it, like him at a college or whatever. They're kind of like they're reporting to a college like their findings, and they're filming this dog all the time, and it's just a dog who has these buttons, and when he learns or she learns like a set of buttons, then they add a new button. And I mean, this dog is learning like past tense and present tense, like the difference between that and the difference between you and we, and it's just so freaking fascinating. So if you Google Bunny the dog, it's just my new favorite thing. Aw, Becky says she's gonna name her new puppy Peony. Oh, I love that so much. That's my mom's favorite flowers are peonies, and my grandma grew like a whole field of peonies, a whole just giant garden of peonies. Well, I don't know, a very big garden, but the whole like front couple rows, or at least the first row, was a bushes and bushes of peonies, and they're just the prettiest. That is such a sweet name for a puppy. Love it. All right, we got ourselves a little bunny head here. He's looking pretty dang cute. So again, it's a little chunky in places that I can adjust later, but what I'm shooting for now is just to kind of have the form of the head, so we can kind of see how he might be. Ugh, he's cute. And I do want a lot of material down here, because we are going to turn this right side out. I might put a hair more in here. Or not right side out. We're gonna flip the edge so that it's like little 1/4 inch or about seam allowance there. And I might even just like finger press this while I'm here. Just kind of press around. That's not going to do too much. I think really just when we start pinning is when we'll deal with this. But anyway, so we'll be turning under the edge a little bit and then deciding where we want him placed. But first, I'm going to set him aside, and we're going to stuff the body here a little bit. We're going to get these feet, because that won't, we can get those pretty stuffed without it being affected by the rest of our process here. And then we'll pretty loosely, kind of like how we did here, but maybe a little less, or I don't know, whatever. Maybe a little bit more, I don't know. But we'll stuff the body here a little bit. Now, get a stick. I'm just using my hemostats again, just kind of stuffing it in these legs. And we'll get both legs, and then we'll just kind of get the body going. But again, I'm still going to take my little pieces. I don't want to just put a giant chunk in there. My little pieces, and get them in there. Look at this big old strawberry there on his leg. That's cute. Oh man, Sylvia had cows and pigs and chickens. Fun. Alright, so there's his first little leg. Cute. Alright, let's get his second leg. So at this point I can kind of stuff through the neck or through the hole here, but eventually, soon we'll have this neck closed up. Alright. Stuff these in here. It's funny, like you poof up a piece of this, and it really, it looks like kind of like a big chunk, but all that's going to be stuffed into this little leg. But I still have to fluff it up before I kind of stuff it in there. All right. So those two little legs are there. So remember, we still haven't put on the back legs. Those will happen after we have this whole thing stuffed. So that's the last thing we're gonna do, and that will actually probably come next week when we do the little legs. I'm hoping we can do that Monday, and hopefully it doesn't take longer than Monday, because we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before the end of the month, and I'm still not done with my embroidery of the month. So last week we worked on the embroidery of the month, which is that herb bouquet. I would love next week to finish up this thyme and this parsley, and then we can actually get this whole thing done next week. So I'd love to be able to get the bunny done on Monday, and then the embroidery done on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday is April. Cruising through the year already, isn't that crazy? Oh, Gretchen says I never thought I'd be able to make a stuffy. Yeah, let me know how it's going, you guys. I know, I think, I'm not sure we did one stuffed animal here a long time ago, but I think that was from Heidi Boyd. We did her unicorn, which was kind of sewn a bit differently. But yeah, I don't think we've done a stuffed animal like this on here before, so this was fun. A little bit different, but using, pretty familiar material still with the quilting weight fabric and our sewing machine and everything, and it's just a step-by-step process. A lot of pinning, that's kind of the difference, but every craft kind of has its thing. And this is kind of a pretty intuitive pattern. I mean, I'm thinking there's a whole lot of other patterns for making stuffed animals that you don't have to pin or do stuff so much, so I'm out of fluff. Let's get some more. So if this is something you're interested in, more stuffed animals, there's definitely a lot of patterns out there. Ugh, all right, grabbing more fluff. Ugh, I'm gonna need a lint roller like crazy though when I'm done here. Oh yeah, this bunny would be so cute as Patrick, I think. Alright, I kind of have his back butt going on here. Let's start on the front area. I'm going to leave that little gap at the neck. I'm going to kind of stuff it in that direction to get going, and we'll just push it down out of the way. It'd be nice if I could get him to at least kind of be in the sitting, or like, the upright position before we kind of place the head and decide where he wants to go. Ah, it's coming together. Alright, again, we're going to work and rearrange this stuffing a bit more. I'm probably going to actually stuff a ton more in here, but I just want to get it sort of to the point where it feels like a body here, so we can kind of judge the head a little bit. I think I can probably get this right in there. Seems like it needs some yet. Oh, let's just grab this. This whole thing kind of came out. This is probably maybe a little bit much, but at least it's here. force more stuffing like into his kind of shoulder areas, and that will help the legs kind of stay in this downward position too. Along with our darts, that's really helping a lot. All right, I think that's feeling, decent enough to work on the head a little bit. Ugh, fluff everywhere. Yeah, you'll have to take like a lint roller to your finished piece probably too. Okay, so again, we just want to kind of turn in the edge here. Can maybe get some fluff up in here to help to kind of hold that edge there and to add some dimension to the neck a little bit. There we are. And this is going to be a lot of pinning. So actually I might put a hair more in this guy's neck on this side too. Turn these under and kind of let that fluff hold it in place. We're going to pin a bunch here. Okay, so now is the fun part. We can kind of decide where we want the head to go. So it can go kind of straight out. I think that's kind of how I have the other one. I kind of want this one to look like straight at you though. I think that's kind of fun. I think I'm going to turn it just like this. Versus this guy is looking kind of sideways. I think I might have him look right at me like this. Oh, I think that'd be cute. It also, I think it'd actually be cute looking backwards a little bit. Oh, you know, it would be cute to like make a little bird or something that could like sit on his butt and then he could be looking backwards at that. That would be cute. But I think I'm going to go straight forward. I think that looks fun. So I want to pin this head on, which is going to be a little awkward and annoying, but it'll work. So I'm just kind of pinning those tucked edges. I'm getting that front kind of where I want it. And then if I want, his head just fell off. But if I want him, you know, right now he's kind of looking a little downward. If I want him kind of more upward, which I think I do, I think I'm going to just tuck in the back of his neck a little bit more. There should be enough leeway here that you can kind of play around a little bit. Okay, that's maybe a hair more. I'm just rolling that seam under. This is why I like stuffing it first, because you can really kind of make these decisions. Alright. I think maybe kind of like so. So I'm just going to get a pin in there. This doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, get it as good as you can, but we'll be going around the edge stitch by hand, so we can kind of adjust along the way. All right, we're looking pretty good on this side, so I'm just going to pin that in place. Already stabbing myself a bunch of times, but that's the way it goes, I suppose. He's looking pretty dang cute. All right, let's get all up in here. Get these seams kind of matching. I'm just kind of doing the two sides and then centering or putting some in the center there, and I'm keeping on going in the middle of the last thing. Like in between, like I did the front and the back, and then in between there and in between there, and then I might do a few more. I might just keep it like that and then just hand stitch around, and yeah, I think we're probably good just like that. Oh, Shirley says sewing on his head wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. The pins got in the way a little. Yep, I'm a little annoyed at the pins for sure. But again, you can do that way where you just stuff it right in there and sew it with the machine. But I do like just being able to place it. One thing I do is I try to have the points of the pin go back into the fabric, so then they're not like completely sticking out. Well, except for this one right here. So I don't know. I only have 4 pins in here. Hopefully they don't stab me too much. So all right, I kind of like this. If you don't like where it is, just take the pins out and move it around again. So I have him kind of looking forward, maybe a little backwards, but I think that's pretty cute. I think that'll do. He's not too far forward. I can, stuff him more in the chest too, and that'll like perk his head up a little bit. But yeah, I'm liking him. He's looking cute. So I'm gonna grab some thread. Let's see. I think I have some gray thread. So the other thing is you can leave this exposed. It's gonna be fine with the stitches that we're using. But oh gosh, look at all this fluff. But if you want to hide the stitches, we'll put like a little bow on. I was thinking of doing a little pom-pom around him. Oh, I just kind of want to clean this up. Ooh, you know what? I think I have a lint roller right here. Let's use it. Nice thing to have around. Oh gosh, it's everywhere while you're doing all this fluffy stuff. It really is everywhere. I'm going to get it out of the way just while we stitch so I don't get it more everywhere. But I'm going to get it everywhere again when we stuff the rest of him. But, alright. That guy can stay on hand. Okay, I got my gray thread. Let's get Zeb over here again. You can use an embroidery needle. I'm going to use that straw needle, though. I think it's a little longer. Okay, I'm set. Man, I'm almost out of a lot of my Aurifil thread here. This gray is going to match his body really nicely, though. Okay, let's just check the instructions here. So we're going to do a ladder stitch for this, and I have little instructions here on how to do that. So we are going to just go like up and over and down and over, up and over and down and over, and that will, it looks like a ladder, so that's why it's called the ladder stitch. And the nice thing about the ladder stitch is you can kind of loosely make those stitches, and they don't have to be perfect, and then you pull, and all of the stitches get tight all at once. And that's why it's used on stuffed animals a lot, because when you have like really fat, big stuffing, you can just go back and forth, and when you're ready, you can pull it all tight, and it'll close that gap. And that's going to work really well here for the neck as well. We can just kind of go up and down, and it will just all get sucked together. So I'm going to get definitely enough to go around the head, around the neck here. You know what? Let's use some thread conditioner too, because why not? It's going to help us out. Ooh, rickrack would be cute as a little necklace, little tie as well. It just adds something sweet to it. You know what? A little flower would be cute in the hair too, like a little pom-pom flower or something. So now I think about it, maybe I won't do a pom-pom. I'll probably just end up doing a little ribbon because I want to get it done on Monday, and then making pom-poms would take a bunch of time. Alright, I'm just going to tie a knot here. I do have some leftover pom-poms that we made a little while ago, though. Maybe I'll try and hunt one of those up. Okay, I'm thinking I want to start maybe on the side a little bit and work my way around so that my end seam is kind of towards the back. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to start at the back here. And here, I'll get lower for you guys here. So roller coaster ride for a sec. Okay, so I'm coming in I'm on the bottom, and I'm just going from right to left. I'll be able to tuck in this knot at the end there. I tied a knot here. I'm just going to tuck it towards the inside. I can do that once I take this pin out. But all right, so now I'm going to go directly above the top. I'm just going to kind of guess where that is, and then I'm going to take a stitch to the left. So I'm going directly up from where my thread ended, and then we're taking a stitch on the top. So let's pull that through. Oop, I'm caught on his little foot. Okay, and then I'm going to go straight down to the neck or the bottom, and we're going to make a little stitch that way. So straight down and over. So I'm not pulling anything tight yet. So I'm going straight up and over. Ugh, lost the needle. Lost the thread on the needle. Always doing that with these little needles. Okay, down and over. Up and over. All right, and then every once in a while you can pull it tight. So see here, I have the ladder stitches. You can kind of see them. And if I pull, they'll all just tighten up. So I don't want to do I don't want like 30 of these. Like the 4 or 5 is enough before pulling it tight. So there we go. So now that's tight. I wanted to pull that tight because it was feeling like I didn't know where to put my stitches next because I want to get this kind of curve of the neck here, and it was feeling a little floppy, so I just pulled those tight, and now it kind of pulled those pieces together, and I can kind of see where I want to go next. So down and over. Uh-oh, got a little knot there. One of my loopy little knots. There we are. All right, up and over. Ooh, pink and red pom-poms. That would be cute. You know, I could do a pom-pom with just yarn, too. That would be faster than my embroidery floss ones. So I'm approaching that next pin. So I'll remove that pin, and then I'll probably pull this tight again. All right. Yeah, let's pull this tight. So again, you can see my ladders just all kind of separate like that, and just kind of grab onto my floss here and give it a little pull, and they all tighten up again. So there we go. It is a little bit of a wiggly stitch, the ladder stitch, and you'll actually see these on like mass-made stuffed animals too. So if you go look at any stuffed animal that you have, you will see somewhere on a seam it's a little bit wiggly, and that is the ladder stitch that they use to close up the piece after they were done stuffing it. So even, I mean, that's what it looks like on, mass market, mass made stuffed animals as well. So here we go. Now we're gonna really get this area together. All these stitches are far apart, but I want to stretch this top part so it's more on the back of the neck here. All right, let's see where that gets us. I'll do one more at the bottom. There, here's all these crazy ladders. It's kind of scary looking, but then they just pull together. I think that's fun. And maybe left a little bit too much here, but when I pull it tight, it seals up that little hole. So that's fine. We're good to go still. All right, we are approaching the front of his neck now. It's actually pretty speedy, this ladder stitch, and it is just nice that you can just stitch for a while and then pull. Oh, Colleen says in the Build-A-Bear we saw them sew that up after the stuffing. Yep, they're just doing back and forth probably a zillion times faster than me. Think about how many bears those employees have to sew up. They have to get training on that and all that. How funny. thinking they're maybe using a bit heftier thread than I am. All right, let's pull it again. There we are. All right, I don't think I want to take that pin out quite yet. I also like this part when you watch people stitch it, because they always hold, they're like cradling the character, and then they're holding it in a real weird position sometimes. So I don't know, it's kind of funny. I'm like cradling his head, but also squashing him at the same time. I kind of like this hand stitching of it all. I mean, yes, we could have just sewn this on with the machine, like how I was kind of explaining earlier, but I like this process. All right, out of here, pin. We'll do a couple stitches, and then I think I want to pull this down a little bit, so we'll get these couple ladder stitches, and then, yeah, I'm going to pull tight again. See where the head position is. All right, we're still good. I think this is going to look just fine without any, necklace or anything on them, any ribbon. But it's just so dang cute when you put a ribbon on that, It hides the stitches, but it also just looks cute. Oh, funny. Marie says, she's precious. I use the ladder stitch a lot because the dog stuffies are always coming apart at the seams. Yep. You're a master ladder stitcher, I bet. Oh yeah, I'm cradling his head funny and also sticking him with a needle. It's true. Yep, I agree, Noeline. If I were giving this to kids or something, I'd probably use maybe like a buttonhole thread, something maybe a little heftier. It gets hard when you get too hefty to pull it through the fabric. But, yeah, a little heftier thread. I probably could have grabbed some little heftier stuff. So it is pretty loose in the neck here, but remember we left kind of a gap of stuffing there. So we're going to actually kind of continue to stuff up in the neck when we're done here. We're over halfway done on his neck here. So yeah, I'm going to, right when we're done with this, it'll be continuing stuffing. And we could actually close the other bit tonight too, so we can actually completely stuff him. Then the only thing left really, besides adding his little cute necklace, whatever that's going to be, his little necktie or whatever, are the back legs. He doesn't have any back legs yet. And really, if you want, he could probably stay like this, but it is pretty cute with those little back legs. And that's actually going to help him stand upright without falling over too much. And you can place those wherever you want to, which is kind of fun. So we still have that. So that we'll do on Monday. But I would like to think that we can do that in one day. All that little leg stuff. Okay, just pulling on this again. All right, I'm a little close. We're gonna zoom out here again. All right. A little bit more, sorry about that. But I'm going to have him upright like this, and he was going to smack into the camera. All right, let's get rid of that pin. Oh, and I just really have the back pin, and I don't think I even need him anymore because we're already stitched to that point, so we are out of pins. We are just, I want to maybe poof this part out yet. I'm just stitching now. But yeah, the directional fabric, it all turned out really, really nice. I'm happy with that. It's fun. Like, it's a pile of crazy until it isn't anymore, right? Like, all of a sudden, you stuff it a little bit, and all of a sudden it's a bunny. Oh, Nora's asking what's button thread. So it's just like it's just like a fatter thread. I don't even know if that just might be a marketing name that they call thread at the store, but it's just a thicker cotton thread, and they call it like buttonhole thread or button thread, just because it's a little heftier. So if you're sewing a button onto like a wool coat or something like that, and you want it hefty, then it's that. But like a jean thread or just like any heftier, heavy duty thread, and honestly, this is fine too. But yeah, I know a lot of toy makers, if they know that kids are going to be playing with a lot, they'll like double sew their seams. I'm not really sure that helps, but who knows. This will probably be fine like this. Oh, Amy says button thread is usually silk, which is really strong. Oh, I didn't realize that. Just like any heavy duty thread. I got a little knot in here. Where'd it go? Guess away. So it's a little bunchy here. It's just because I think I pulled my ladder stitch a little tight. But again, we are going to be covering that up with some ribbon, so it's not going to matter. Cute little flowers. Alright, just because oh shoot, lost my needle again. I'm actually going to trim this a lot shorter. But I'm going to pull those stitches because they're going to be a lot right there. I don't want too many because it might be a little harder to pull. Alright, and this is the last stretch here. And I'll just tie a little knot and kind of tuck it in to the body. And that's that. We'll add a little bit more stuffing. And I'm just looking at the time, so maybe we won't seal him up yet, but we'll get him all good and stuffed. So we can start on Monday with a quick ladder stitch of the opening. There we are. I'm going to tie this in a little knot here. And then we'll do those legs. His back little legs. Oops. Lost my stupid needle again. I gotta thread that needle one last time so I can tuck in this thread into the body. Alright, there we are. Oh, well, I guess I'll put that needle on my arm for now. Alright, we got a little head on here. It's so sweet. Alright, so again, it's pretty loose right there. You could actually leave it loose. You really don't have to like overly stuff this. It doesn't need to be a ton. I like kind of overstuffing them a little bit because then it gives it a lot of shape, but it is kind of fun and soft. With the polyester stuffing, that will always kind of feel a little relaxed. You're never going to be able to get it to feel super duper solid like you would with a different type of stuffing. But yeah, so I'm going to just try and stuff this a little bit more. I'm moving some of the stuffing out of the way so I can get back kind of to that neck area, and I'm going to just kind of jab what's already in this body up higher into the neck. And then we'll fill in a little bit more. And, now we can kind of see where are there like little pockets in here that I might want more stuffing, like maybe up in here Or if I want like the eyes to stick out a little bit more, I could add a little bit more stuffing behind the eyes. Maybe I add a little bit more to the back. This is where you can kind of start shaping the stuffing, shaping the body a little bit more with the stuffing. And now I can get all the way up in here. And we can adjust that a little bit too. I actually like taking a like a T-pin like this, or like some sort of sturdy pin. I don't always do this with the quilting weight fabric, but because it leaves some holes, but you can actually get in here and kind of move the stuffing around. Again, I'm not going to do it too much because it leaves holes on quilting weight fabric, but if you're using like a wool or something like that, or the fleece or something, you could putz it around a little bit more. Ooh, and I think I fluffed up his mouth a little bit. Ooh, that's kind of a bummer. Let's see if I can accidentally caught this on the stitching and pull the stitching out a little bit. I'm going to try and stuff the stitching back in. Yeah, that's working a little bit. Okay, let's keep stuffing. He's got such a little weird smirk anyway because I sewed it crooked. And if you can't reach, get a chopstick or something and get it right up in there. Trying to see if I can get rid of that pucker a little bit. It's so silly. All right, let's get more up in that neck and we'll just kind of call it a day here. This is one of those processes that you think, oh, you just stuff it real quick, but it's kind of like pressing. You do want to take your time and you do want to kind of get it all in the right spots and get it right how you want it. And you got to do that fluffing it up to get the little bit, give it some fluff. Trying to get down in kind of the chest area now. And once he's all sewn up too, you can squish it all around and kind of shape him a little bit more to however you want. We got his he looks taller now. It's kind of funny. All right, fill in some of these air gaps that I'm feeling. I think his butt needs some more. Yep, let's get a more stuffed butt, and then I'll kind of fill in the hole that I'm making now, and I think that'll be good enough. It is fun to see him start getting his shape, though. It's a funny little face. Okay. belly. So then you're really just going to do the same thing and I think we'll wait till next time to do this, but you're going to do the same thing at this seam. You're just going to do that ladder stitch. I would throw a couple pins in there, or just maybe one in the middle, and then do the ladder stitch to the pin, and then do more. This is where you really can kind of have it bigger, and then you just zoop, pull on it, and all those little stitches seal this guy up. He needs a little bit more, though, in here. It's crazy how much you can stuff into these. We're getting there. Ugh, just like right in there, I want it. And this will move around, so maybe I'm being a little picky now. One more. Oh, Nillian says I could put a magnetic pin cushion inside him and then use him as a magnetic pin cushion. He'd be a big pin cushion, but it'd be fun to have around. All right. You look stuffed, Mr. Bunny. Kind of want to maybe put a little bit more in his back, but I think maybe not. Maybe we'll just leave him like so. Give him a little rounder head, maybe. Fun. Okay, so there we have them, basically. So there is our stuffed bunny. We'll put a little cute little ribbon on him, and we haven't put the legs on yet, right? So he'll have a back leg here, and a back leg on this side too, and that's gonna really help prop him up too. However, how you want him. Oh, I should stuff his shoulder a little bit more too. So I kind of want him kind of not really leaning back, but not looking like he's leaning down either. So I will probably position the foot a little bit lower like that, just to kind of hold him upright. But he's looking awfully cute. I'm really happy with how he's turning out here. There's the bottom with all his little strawberries. Fun! All right, you guys. Here's little bunny. I like his little floppy ears too. So you can get them to stand a little bit straighter. When you're done, you can even like starch them up a little bit. If you position them just right, they'll stay up. And if you've used like a fluffier fabric, they'll probably just stand on their own as well. But with the quilting weight, it's a little floppy. But I love how he turned out. His little face there. This guy's staring right at us. All right. It does add an extra bit to put the foot on. It will even look even more like a bunny after that. And his cute little, I'll have to find a cute little ribbon for his neck, a little bow. That just is the nice finishing touch for them. But I'm really happy with how he turned out. So obviously we're not quite done. We will finish this on Monday. We have 3 days of March yet, so we have sort of another free week next week. So this is a free week. That's why we're working on him. And yeah, so we'll finish him on Monday, I'm thinking. And then we will finish up on Tuesday and Wednesday our herb bouquet embroidery of the month. So that's the last time you can get the bundle for that is by Wednesday. And the bunny will be there for, I don't know, until we decide we don't want him there anymore. So that will be available yet, the bunny pattern. So thank you guys for joining me again this Friday, and I will see you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Good night.